Willie, this being your first year, a lot of new guys coming in. Do you expect this, too deep to be more fluid than maybe some other years, or does that not matter? How do you?
We're going to play a lot of guys Saturday. We've got a lot of competition at multiple positions. It's going to be hot. I think you're foolish not to play a lot of guys early in the year because of that. You can do all the, my strength coach is outstanding, Kurt Hester, but he can do all the running he wants to in the summer, and we can do all the practicing. It's a little different once you begin playing real games, and sometimes you find out then, and we've increased reps with our guys. We were doing 3 and out at the beginning of preseason camp, then we went to 4 and out, 5, 6, 7, 8, got up to 8 plays, and we just want to build that stamina up, and we'll play quite a few guys, so it'll be very fluid right now, and I'd say by week 3 we'll pretty much understand our rotation, who's the guys who are starting, who's the guys who are going to play a lot, who's the guys who are going to play a little bit, who's going to be a kicking game guy, play a little bit maybe on offense and defense, and it's something that we evaluate every day with our guys, but playing a real game is a different kind of evaluation.
Willie, coming out of the spring and camp and monitoring Donovan, where's the comfort level in terms of how you feel going into the season in terms of the shoulder and just kind of the knowledge of the offense?
He's 100%. He's great. We tried to put him on a little bit of a pitch count, and he's a competitor. He didn't want us to do that, so we just treat him like anybody else. His surgery was very successful, and he's doing everything that we're asking of him and more.
Coach, just how excited are you to get this thing going?
Oh, I'm very excited. I really, I tell our guys, most of the players and most of the coaches probably work, 350 days a year. For these 12 opportunities, and one of them is going to be Saturday, 6:05 kickoff. So, you want to take advantage of every single minute of preparation, and it's easy for me to say at my age, doing it, but we want to make sure that we understand how important the preparation is leading up to the ball game, and this is why these guys work, and do things for 350 days a year, for these 12 opportunities, and one of them's going to be over about 9:15 on Saturday night. So might as well put everything into it that you possibly can.
With being the new coach and it finally being game week, can you now wrap up what that whole offseason was like for you? And
it's just, it's been really busy. One of the things I've tried to do is go to any speaking event that anybody connected with the University of Houston asked me to go to, and I've done quite a few of them over these, 9 months that I've been here. Gotten to meet a lot of people. I wish I was a little bit better with faces and names than I am sometimes. It seems like I meet about 5 new people a day. I just met a couple at lunch here a second ago. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind, but it's how it is when you take over a job. This is my 6th job that I've taken over as a head coach, and they're all different and unique. But that first year, you're just working around the clock to have as much success as you possibly can. So it's been a lot of work, but it's been a labor of love. This is what I love to do. So it doesn't really feel like work.
Are you planning on doing something really different from other teams that you played for day one, like maybe the way you run into the field and you'll play?
Well, I got to find all that out. Andrew's just talking to me about after the game and coming in here. After the locker room, we come in here and all that stuff. So it'll be new. We're going to come over on Friday as a team and, really go through how we warm up for a game, where we go at when we get to the locker room, where we break into offense, defense, kicking game, when we come in at halftime. I'm going to talk to my coaches about where they want to position everybody because it is new. I got a lot of guys that have been with me in the past, but we're all at a new place now here at the University of Houston. So, I try to leave no stone unturned, but I'm sure there's going to be something that happens on Saturday that I wasn't quite ready for. Hopefully not.
Willie, want to ask you specifically about the secondary and just maybe what you saw from them in camp in terms of the production there.
Yeah, I'm excited about our secondary. We've got a lot of depth back there in the back end. We really got, I think, 5 or 6 guys that can play corner for us. To what extent and how much, we'll find out. Latrell McCutcheon, he's been chomping at the bit for a year. He's going to be at a corner. A.J. Carter will be another guy that'll be playing corner for us. Jeremiah Wilson, Chris Davis. Then the safety positions for us. We have what we call a anchor position in Hershey McLaurin and Juwan Gaston, both guys who've played a bunch of football. Hershey was a starter last year at West Virginia, and then Contrell Webb, who started for us at Tulane last year and made the trip over here. Houston, Tegan Wilk, who started at East Carolina last year, and they had a really good defense. A.J. Halsey, who's played a ton of snaps for the Cougars, and Noah Guzman as well. So we'll I feel like we got good depth, and we'll play a lot of guys. And not only those guys play on defense, but a bunch of those guys are going to play, for us in the kicking game, covering punts and kicks and kickoff return, frontline guys, and PBR, pump block return unit. So those guys will play a bunch for us. Probably 8 of them will play quite a bit in the secondary for us.
For those guys who are returning, played in the Big 12 in the program's first year and it last year, how does that getting through that first year kind of prime them for having success in the conference in the second year? Well,
I think they've gone against that level of competition, game after game after game after game. That'll be the part that's probably new for me with the playing in a Power 4 league. We always played good teams every place I've been at, but maybe you didn't play this level of competition week after week after week after week. So and UNLV, our first opponent, had an outstanding season last year. I got a ton of respect for Coach Odom and how he does things. I've known him a long period of time, and they've done an excellent job recruiting and really look good across the board, offense, defense, and kicking game.
Willie, Kelvin Sampson has said he sacrificed some wins, his first few years to establish, his culture. How do you sort of balance that, trying to win with also, setting to your standards?
Well, you do that every single day. Obviously you want to do both if at all possible, but, I want to make sure our guys are doing things the right way. This will be different for them, playing a game under my tutelage and our coaching staff and all those kind of things. So that'll be a little different for them. I got high expectations of how we're going to do things out there. We talked about it a little bit this morning in our team meeting. We had a team meeting at 7. Talked about getting out there and playing the game and not worrying about all the peripheral things. Sometimes guys get in there and put their uniforms on, the lights come on, it's on TV, and they act differently than they should be acting. You saw that over and over again this weekend with all the games, on TV. Guys doing things and putting their teams in bad position. Probably would have never done it in a practice, but the light was shining on them. They decided to do something, that they weren't supposed to do. So that's what I told a little story this morning just about when I was coaching at Blinn, my first head coaching job, and it doesn't matter where we're playing at or who we're playing. I kind of take it as Blinn versus Cisco, and might have had 100 people out there watching the ball game, and that's how all I'm worried about is what's going on. 53 and a third width of the field, 120 yards length of the field. That's all I'm concerned about, and that's what I got to get the guys to understand how important that is too. Not worrying about the stands, who's up there. Got plenty of time to give Mama a hug post game and all those kind of things. We need to concentrate on the game, and that's harder than you think nowadays.
First of all, you had at least 200 for Trinity Valley and Navarro.
We had more than that for those games. Those were at home. How many?
Willie, UNLV's go-go offense, a lot of formations, motions, stuff. What do you see on that, and then also preparing for not knowing who the quarterback's going to be?
Well, we've looked at all the quarterbacks. We'll figure that out soon enough. They're all good athletes and can, throw it and run it. I would say not all of them equal ability, but as far as running and throwing, but they do both. They're not going to change your offense dramatically when one guy's in as opposed to another. Offensively, they do a really nice job. They really do a bunch of window dressing with backfield sets and formations and motions and shifts, which a lot of people are doing nowadays. We've worked a lot against a huddle, tempo huddle and breaking the huddle and getting lined up quickly. I think with the sideline to quarterback communication, that's going to be part of the game that you're going to have to work on every single week. I think a lot of people are going to be doing that now because it really gets everybody on the same page. And, that's how you outflank people and get people out of position is breaking that huddle and getting lined up quickly. They showed some tempo last season as well, so a lot of similarities to things we do offensively. We go fast, we go moderate tempo, and then we also will huddle at times as well.
Coach, could you just talk to the Cougar fans out there tell them what they can expect out of your squad this year and when they come here or even watching them on TV this year?
Well, we want to be a disciplined team. We talk all the time about the Cougs don't beat the Cougs, and early in the season, this is huge for every team playing. You don't want to beat yourselves with, not having, 11 the correct 11 guys on the field or 2 guys in motion or not enough guys on the line of scrimmage or line up in the neutral zone or, plays that anybody who comes to the game can call from up in their stands drinking a cold beer. It's not anything complicated, right? And so we want to, eliminate those. When the ball's snapped, whether it's a pass interference, whether it's a hold, that's at the discretion of the official. Sometimes it is. Guy does the exact same thing. The next play, they don't call it. So we want to control the controllables. And in the first ball games, that is really, really important. The other part is communication. We've worked on it all throughout camp, but we're going to crank up the noise here the next few days in the stadium and get our guys used to hand signals and communicating and making sure we're all on exactly the same page. That's also important. All coaches talk about doing your 1/11th, but if one guy doesn't do his 1/11th and he's at the point of attack, you got issues and problems. So those are some of the things that come up in week 1.
Coach, you say you were hoping to kind of set your team or have an idea by week 3. Is there other goals you're kind of wanting to hit as the season goes, or are you kind of just filling it out week by week?
We're just, we wanted to go 1-0 every week. I know that's I've been using that slogan for decades, and I think it's really important. We just want to. I had one of the kids tell me this morning, man, I want to, Coach, we're gonna get after them and win on Saturday. I said, let's win today. Let's do that first. Let's take care of that, and then we'll take care of tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next day after that. So it's, we would just want to go 1-0 every week, and when the game's over, you press that reset button and you go after the next opponent to the best of your ability. And I really think it's it's so important to not waste these days of preparation coming up. We work year round for these 12 opportunities, and there's going to be 11 of them at 9:30 on Saturday night. So we want to prepare and play the very best we possibly can and see where that takes us. Yes.
Willie, how do you feel about your kick and punt return? Coming into
Good.
this year?
I feel good about our kick and punt returners. Brian Massey is going to do our kick return. Brian had a couple kick returns for touchdowns when he was playing at SMU. Mekhi Muse was the punt returner and kick returner at University of Georgia the last couple of years, and he's a dynamic returner. So I think we've got 2 excellent returners. But it's important to have a great returner back there. They got to make great decisions. They got to be able to have that make you miss ability out in the open field. But they're not anything without the other 10 guys, holding guys up, blocking people on KOR, whatever the case may be. And that's what I'm interested in seeing. That's hard to replicate in practice. First kickoff return. We haven't done it live yet. Saturday will be the first time that we do that live.
good special teams over the
Yeah.
years. I mean, what's that take to make?
You got to emphasize it, and you got to play your best players on there. I play my best guys. If you're a guy that can't run and hit, and you're not dependable, you're not going to play in the kicking game for us. So I tell our guys all the time, I've got a really good relationship with a head football coach. I get to pick the guys that I want to play in the kicking game. So we're going to play our best players in the kicking game.
Willie, two guys you're very familiar with Keith and Kendre, and obviously if Corey was available, he would have seen a lot of action. Having guys like that you're familiar with, that not so much getting to know, but know what they've done, how key is that, especially on
Well, it's
defense?
good. I also think it's good for those guys. I'm sure they've had conversations with some of our other student athletes, on how I do things and what my expectations are. And Kentrell, he's just had an outstanding camp for us. He's Kentrell Webb. He's played extremely well back in the back end. And then Keith Cooper, another guy who's played a ton of football for us at Tulane, and he'll do a great job here as well. And they understand what I'm looking for.
What's the biggest improvements you've seen in Donovan since you first got here? Obviously, he had some injury things in spring, but what's the biggest strides you've seen him make?
He was as advertised. He's a great leader. He's got great body language all the time. Body language never whispers; it always screams, and his is always screaming positivity, and he's just enjoyable to be around. And then I've watched his progression throwing the ball, and probably after our first week during preseason camp, you could see that he was full go. He could make the one ball, the two ball, the three ball, I kind of call him, and he can throw all of them extremely well, and then he moves. Sometimes you got to get up next to him to see how big he is, because he's got good movement, and something else too. I think he's really helped the quarterback room. Zion Chris, I've been extremely impressed with, and Zion's a guy that we won't hesitate, if we need to put him in there. He's a big guy. He's 6'2", 205, 210, and can run it. Super movement, great speed, and he also throws the ball really well. So I've been very impressed with both those guys. Everybody good? Thank you. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. Go Cougs.